Samsung did it too. From the flagship, the Galaxy S5, shrunk a mini phone, the S5 Mini. I want to present and compare those two. First of all, of course, optics. It's exactly the same with that metal frame over here and the backside with this design, and again this like feeling a little bit like rubber, so your fingers have a good grip. We have that heart rate monitor over here, and below the mechanical front button you have a fingerprint reader, so if you strap your finger over here you can, for example, unlock your phone with that. We have seen this with the S4. I don't tell any much more concerning that, but if you're interested, you can find the video from the S5 where I explain these things over here. Both displays are Super AMOLED, but of course from the Mini it's smaller. It's now 4.5 inches, or to be precise 4.47 instead of 5.1 inches. So it's a big difference, of course, but on the other hand, you have a way smaller and more compact phone. This is 65 millimeters in width, and the big one, the S5, has 73 millimeters, and a weight, of course, of 120 instead of 145 grams. So even if it sounds on the papers just a little bit less, but believe me, if you have it in your palm, it's a totally different league. This is way more compact because the width, especially if you think of just using one hand and using your phone with one hand, it's no problem for the finger to go over here, where with a big phone and a big screen like on the S5, it's way harder to reach the corners, of course. Yeah, but the resolution is of course different too, because we don't have that full HD from the S5. Now it's 720 by 1280 pixels. So of course you have a totally different sharpness. It's now 290 ppi instead of 432. This sounds big again, but if you, let's say, go into the app launcher, and I'm coming a little bit closer with the camera so that you can see for yourself, this is not that big a deal like it sounds. Or I have prepared a little photo over here. Let's go into that. It's both, again, a Super AMOLED, so you can compare, and I'm going to the same size of the picture. I guess this is it, yeah. And now please try to watch, let's say, on the trees over here, these small parts. You can see a little difference, so that you say, okay, a little bit more details on the S4, but it's not that big difference that you would say, okay, it's totally unsharp, or I do not see the details on the S5 below over here. So it's a different, yes, but it's not that big. Or if we let's say go to the browser for the white background, I have that little magnifier over here so that we can see. On the S5, you know, we have that diamond matrix, called so because first the subpixels, the green one and red ones, are shaped a little bit like a diamond, and especially you have that diagonal arrangement of the subpixels very regularly, so that you have a sharper display or sharper image than on pentile matrices. So a question is now, what's going up on the S5 Mini? And as you can see, we have the same matrix, the same diamond matrix, even if the subpixels are bigger and the spaces are a little bit wider. That's the difference I meant. I realized because of that lower PPI. You can see this here very clearly under the magnifier, but regularly you do not look onto your phone with a magnifier, but with your own eyes, and there you can see the differences are very small. Okay, got that. Question is, only shrunken the size of the display and the size of the device, or is there more? And I have a good and a bad news for you. The bad one is concerning the processor. Here we have the Snapdragon 801, and here in the Mini it's a Samsung chip called SC53470. Great name. Wonderful job, boys. Again, we have 4 cores, yes, but the gigahertz is just 1.5 instead, sorry, 1.4 instead of 2.5, and the RAM is 1.5 instead of 2 gigabytes. So we have to wait for the benchmarks, of course, in the final test, but I'm pretty sure that the Mini will not have the same power of the CPU like on the big one. That's the difference. Yeah, it's enough for, as you can see here, scrolling around, opening and closing apps or whatever. But if you're a gamer, for example, or especially multimedia, multitasking, I would suggest the S5 is more yours than this one. But how big the difference is, we will see with the benchmarks. The good news is we have exactly the same internal memory, 16 gigabyte on both, leaving some 11.5 gigabyte net out of the box. And you have, of course, that's typical Samsung. I really love that. A slot for micro SD card up to 64 gigabyte. And as you can see here, again, that removable battery. Great job. In this case, it's 2100 milliampere hours. Of course, less than the big one, 2800. But compared to the size of the display, it's almost the same. It's 6% above the average instead of 8, but that's the same. And average is always meant all smartphones I've tested in the last 12 months. So the the new devices. So again, it's the same. And as you might remember, on the S5 in the test, that thing was running forever, kind of marathon man. So we can hope that the Mini will last almost the same. So this is something for using it very intensely. And as you might have seen already here on the back side of that thing here, we have that rubber lip again, so meaning that the S5 Mini is the same IP67 protection against dust and water. So you just have to be careful by closing the back side again. And the difference B is that on the USB slot, you do not have any more this flap over here because it's not USB 3.0. But on the other hand, you do not have to be careful to close this very carefully. Sorry. You know what I mean? On here, it's just open and it shall be IP67 nevertheless. Yeah, LTE, of course, both devices, dual cell HSPA, Wi-Fi N, including 5 gigahertz, NFC, Bluetooth 4.0. The only difference I found in this case is that the Mini doesn't support Wi-Fi AC, the newest standard. This is something only the S5 is doing, but let's be honest, if you have Wi-Fi N 5 gigahertz, for most of us, this is okay. Android 4.4.2, no problem at all. Coming to the prices. Yeah, recommended retail price is $449 instead of $699, but let's be honest, these prices are highly theoretical. So in the web, at least here in Germany at the moment, the S5 has been a little bit below at the moment. It's 490 euros without any contract, versus right now from the start of the S5 Mini, we have it here for 390 euros without any contract. So it's just round about $100 difference, but do not take your decision because of the money. I would suggest go for the size and say, is this one with a smaller CPU, with a smaller processor, enough for me for the usage? Then take the compact one. If you are doing, let's say, multimedia and gaming, take the S5, especially because on the back side, and that's the last one, we have a camera with 16 megapixels instead of 8, but that difference should be, close, let's say like that. I do not want to say what the test will bring, but out of my experience, a good 8-pixel device is shooting great videos too, great photos too. Videos is a difference because here we just have full HD, and the S5 can shoot, if you want to, videos in 4K, meaning 4 times full HD. So if you have a new TV set with 4K, you just want to shoot videos in 4K too, that's clear. Then you have to choose the S4, the big one, the S4, 5, I'm sorry, the S5. Of course, or the S4, this is a good device still. And on this one, you have a little bit less quality in videos and photos, I guess. But let's wait for the test, and that's the last difference. So I hope I could help you a little bit for your decision, deciding what's the difference between the S4, what is it now, between the S5 and the S5 Mini. Thanks for watching, take care, and please remind to recommend my channel and to subscribe to it. Thanks for that in advance. Take care.